comics will break your heart. Where did you come up with that, and what is your meaning behind that?
So I think that not a lot of people know where the quote is from. And I think that it sounds like you actually know where the quote comes from. And it actually comes from Jack Kirby. Jack
Mm-hmm.
Kirby anecdotally said, "Comics will break your heart, kid." I was initially doing a lot of reviews. My initial style when I wanted to do this was doing drunk comic book reviews. So I was kind of working at under gin and comics. Ultimately, that didn't work for me. I had a late night epiphany, and I think it was um, just comic books and the comic book community as a whole. Some creators were kind of breaking my heart. And so I'm like, man, comics are breaking my heart this week. And I'm like, boom, there it is. And miraculously, like all of the, like, Instagram and all of that wasn't really taken. So I'm like, okay, that's got to be my thing now because comics break my heart on a weekly basis and my wallet.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
stories.
Speaking of Mars, like I really want to deep dive into like you and her relationship. Like, how did you guys end up meeting?
Yeah, so I think it was just over Instagram, and the I had been doing weekly shows with my friend Dan, and we also do over on Comic Chop News, and we do a graphic novel book club. And I think that there was a week where we're like, hey, let's go ahead and invite Mars on, and then she was on with us for one of our book clubs, and then I'm like, I love Mars so much. She is like my counterpart, and she is the ice to my fire. Like, like each week we just kind of like deep dive into the books that we're reading, the books that we love, the books that we hate, the creators who we think like the smell of their own farts. So, like we get into it, in a lot of time, I think a lot of times our like opinions about things, depending on like books and movies and things like that, can differ. But I think that like ultimately our goal and ultimately like our mission is so in tune. And there, when I had been doing weekly shows with Dan, I had started this channel last May, and I just thought that this channel was going to be more of like a personal thing for me, but it turns out I don't really have a personality outside of comic books. So I was like, okay, I'm going to maybe just go live and talk about comic books or something. And I've tried to do edited videos on my channel, and those don't really work. And there was one week where I'm like, hey Mars, do you want to join me for a live stream? And she said no, and I'm like, okay. And then the next week I'm like, hey, you want to go live with me this week? And I think that she said no again. And then like the third week I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go live, please come with me. And she finally did. And then we started going live every Sunday. And then finally I'm like, do you want to make this like the real thing? Like, do you want to go steady with me? And she did. And now we talk every single Sunday. I mean, more than that, because like we literally text each other every day.
I'm glad that she said yes, because
Yeah.
the dynamic between the two of you is just great. Like, you guys just seem like great friends, just chatting about what you're loving this week, what you're not picking up, and like there's so much truth to it. And it's just it kind of sometimes feels like we are just spying on you guys, like just chatting, like because like it's
excellent.
It's just that natural between the two of you just chatting, and that it's just like we're eavesdropping on your guys' conversation.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that we got like connected, and like I said, I think it was just initially over Instagram. We started like following each other, and then like I said, I had been doing a show with Dan over on Comic Chop News, and then Mars and I'm like, this has to be a thing, and I love it. I love Sundays so much.
All right,
I have admired Jen for literal years, y'all. Like years. So being on Instagram and seeing Jen, who at the time, y'all, was just Jen and Comics.
Jen Comics.
She was the coolest, badass babe.
Then she got to know me.
She is the coolest, most badass babe I've ever seen in comics, that ever collected comics. And I was like, God damn. I was like, I want to be friends with this girl. I love this girl. And for years, I was like a silent little, like, I stalked. I was like, she's so cool. I want her to be my friend. I don't think she will. And then we started talking here and there. We would like comment on each other's things. We would comment on each other's stories. And then I got the call. Do you want to be on a show with me and Dan? And I was like, I get to meet Jen and I get to talk with Jen. And I just remember like being so like thankful. I'm like, I get to hang out with the coolest girl in comics. And now the coolest girl in comics is one of my best friends. And I get to talk with her every week. I get to text her at 2 a.m. because Mark Millar wants to smell his own farts. And
Yeah,
I just
it's real. It's real, folks.
It's real, folks. I get to send her weird videos of all the comics she should. And I just feel really thankful and blessed. And I don't like saying I feel blessed because I'm not spiritual.
Yeah.
I'm very paganistic. Yeah. I feel blessed. I feel completely blessed at this opportunity. I told myself I was going to cry. I feel completely blessed that for an entire year, 365 days, every Sunday, I get to come onto a show with Jen and talk comics and talk.
Good morning. It's Sunday. It's time to talk comics. It's also Happy Pride Month or Wrath Month for those of you who celebrate Gay Wrath Month. I'm Jennifer. I'm here. Casually Comics. Comics will break your heart. Mars.
I'm Mars, that comic girl. Comically queer, casually queer, always queer, casually queer. No.
Violently queer.
Violently queer. There it is. Violently queer. Violently bisexual.
Oh, yeah.
Battle Axe Bi.
Like, straight people, are you okay? Like,
blink twice if you need to be rescued by your local queer person.
Yeah.
It's completely insane. Oh, you want to know favorite villains? Yeah, are you ready for the list?
Here's what's tough is because I think that a lot of my favorite villains, the reason why they're my favorite villains is because they've been written better, and it's like they've been written as a lovable villain, or so like Magneto, 100% like villain turned like love Magneto Swamp Thing.
I know your favorite villains than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my favorite villains are because I find them hot.
Oh, well, 100%. Like, 10 out of 10 would smash Swamp Thing and Magneto, like, same timesies, duh.
Your favorite.
Anyways, so lots of life events happened to me, and I'm still here, and I'm so thankful to, like, the community that reached out to me, and has just been, like, really nice in this trying time, because it's been kind of a rough couple months for me, but comics were there, and the comic community was there, so... thank y'all. I love y'all. If y'all are in the comments, if in the comments in the stream, I'm seeing some comments pop up. I'm going to say hi and howdy to
there's so many people.
Everyone, I hope. But if you're here, I want to see that you're here, please and thank you. So please drop a comment because I'm about to say hi to y'all. First person, and I'm so glad it's her. My friend Sheena, our friend Sheena, one of the best.
I was about to fucking fight you for Sheena. Listen, if we ever get a divorce, I get Sheena in the custody agreements, okay?
Nah, I think we can find a way to, like, you know, we get Sheena on, like, I'll take Sheena on the weekends.
Alternative schedule.
Like, well, like, you get Thanksgiving, I get Christmas kind of deal.
Okay. Hopefully there will never be a divorce. So hopefully it'll never come to that point.
No. Sheena, we love you so much. Thank you for, like, you have personally reached out to me and, like, sent me, like, It's Always Sunny memes and clips, and I just thank you for offering me an egg in this trying time. So thank you. Thank you, Sheena. You've never watched It's Always Sunny, so you probably have no clue what I'm talking about. I sound like a crazy person to you. So there's a part of me where I was like, fuck, should I have spent that much money? And I'm like, yes, Swamp Thing is my bestest boy. I love him so much. He's the reason why I talk about monster fucking as much as I do. So, like, anyways,
I love Swamp Thing so much. I love Swamp Thing so much.
And Rodney Barnes is a really big Swamp Thing fan. So I really want to campaign like hashtag Rodney Barnes for Swamp Thing, because I hope that after Rom V writes Swamp Thing, we can get Rodney Barnes writing Swamp Thing. So hashtag Rodney Barnes for Swamp Thing.
You heard it, everyone. Hashtag Rodney Barnes for Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Yep.
I
wish that I wish that I had space, and I mean, I say money, but I just spend a lot of like dumb money whenever I can
DB
on this
money.
stuff. That DB money, yep, you know it. And so like I wish.
I also just want to mention, because you kind of said it in that sentence that you said, there's a comic for everyone. I remember hearing that for the first time on your channel, and I love it. There's a comic for everyone, and that there's not just superheroes, there's indies, there's stories for everyone. And a lot of things that we watch on TV is like adapted from an indie comic sometimes.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think like my mission is in this like comic book sphere is making like comics a place for everyone. And, I think it's been a really long time. Comics have been here in its modern iteration for at least, 80 or so years. And, I think that comics are starting to look like the world that we live in, whether that's the cast of the comic books or the creators who are writing and drawing them. So for me, like, I think it's so important that people see themselves in comic books. I think that's like why we get drawn into them. So I think that my biggest thing, kind of going back to science, I really want to be like the Carl Sagan of comic books. And I'd really love to be like the Anthony Bourdain of comic book stores. That's like my mission. Like if I had like two people that I could just like, it'd be those two people and do it for comics.
That's awesome. I really enjoy watching you and just listening to you. Like you're so knowledgeable, like, and like, you're not just saying half this stuff to make yourself sound so you actually read all of this content, and it's just like, and I just love it. And keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. You like are truly like comic book YouTube hype man. I absolutely love it. Seeing you in the chat, just like greeting all of the
Now, Jennifer, you're going first with your Boss Lady cover.
Okay, this one is, I think, specifically for Mars. I think that she'll really appreciate this cover. It's, I think, one of those characters that both of us really love, really appreciate, and just, I don't know, one of my favorite boss ladies, and that's going to be Big Barda.
Love her.
Yeah. So Big Barda is just seriously, she could step on all of us.
Right.
Kiss me on the forehead, tell me I'm a good girl. I love Big Barda so much. So Big Barda, big old boss lady. Love it.
Such a great one. All right,
And
Mark.
that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I don't know what they're here for, but they're not here for the books.
Attention.
Here's I am going to be a little bit I'm going to come out of left field a little bit, maybe. Like I'm here to maybe give a little bit of, like, I guess, my opinion in this. I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, I'm here for my slut counterparts. Like, if there is, seriously though, like, if there is someone who is like, whether whatever gender presentation that they have, whether they female, non-binary, male, whoever they are, if they want to be a slut for comics and they want to show off their body a little bit and show off some comics, I'm here for it. And I'm going to say, go ahead and do it. And I think that a lot of times women are going to be the ones that are like, look at that girl. She's scantily clad. Look, she's showing off her cleavage, or she's showing off her shoulders. And it's like, she doesn't actually read the books. How do we know that? Like, how do we know that she hasn't read the books? Because I assure you, I have been following like comic book YouTube and like comic book news in general. And I assure you, 90% of the accounts that have male hosts don't read their damn books. Like, a lot of these men are out here not actually reading the books. They're just like, oh, look at this Hulk 181 that I've got. And I guarantee you they've probably never read the story. They're just like, oh, it's going to be a first appearance. And they haven't read the book. I don't know them talking about stories whatsoever. Maybe they knew about some stories that happened 20, 30 years ago, but they have no clue the state of current comic books or what's been going on the last 20, 30 years. But we don't necessarily give them shit because we're like, oh, they're doing it the right way. They're not scantily clad. So I'm here for my comic book hose, and I'm here I'm here to say, like, if you're here to be scantily clad and talk about comic books, do it, because I assure you that me dressed in a baggy ass Storm sweater, I will get accused of some dumb shit just because I'm a female in comic books. No matter what, women are still going to be sexualized no matter what. Even though I'm here to read all the books and I'm here to talk about the books every week, I assure you we're still going to be treated just as badly as the ones not doing it right. And I think that when we start to say as a community, like, oh, that girl that's scantily clad who's, not reading the books, we're gatekeeping because we're saying she's not allowed to like comic books. She may know the comic books better than 90% of the comic book dude YouTube.
That's awesome. I really enjoy watching you and just listening to you. Like, you're so knowledgeable, like, and like, you're not just saying half this stuff to make yourself sound so you actually read all of this content, and it's just like, and I just love it, and keep doing what you're doing, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. You are truly like comic book YouTube hype man. I absolutely love it. Seeing you in the chat, just like greeting all of the people.
Because Jamal Campbell's art is so good. Bolero is what made the Ghost watch Q, right?
Oh, yeah. Our little inside jokes from our shows. But yes. But yeah, I hate to be the party pooper. I have to be up at 2 a.m. to go to work. But thank you. I appreciate this time. And
oh no, thank you so much for coming on and then hanging for the first 20 minutes or so while we
Thank you so much.
Jamped with.
I love you. But no, oh yeah, and then I always wanted to think that Mars was going to be here too, but I appreciate you. Everything that you do, Jen, I appreciate you. I appreciate your show. I love you. I admire you. I love you. I just adore you. So.
Oh, I love you so much.
I'm just here.
Yes, Dan.
Thank you, Dan, for being here. But Sheena and I are having a moment.
You're cool. Right.
Apparently,
yeah, I did.
I just have my moments with Rodney.
Thank you, Sheena. I love you.
No, thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. Mwah. I love you
so much.
Okay.
It was great having you on.
Bye, my friend.